guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the all-time classics, HeroQuest. This is a game that's probably started it all for a lot of people. The first game that got me introduced into the world of board gaming. I was actually searching for this game online, Google searching it by definition, not by name, because I couldn't remember what it was a few years ago. And through trying to find this game, I found Descent, and I found Castle Ravenloft, and that's what kind of started it for me. So let's open this up and take a look. So let's start taking a look at the components. I mean, we have the game board here, which as you can see, these are different rooms. You are confined to just the game board. It's not like it has modular dungeon tiles like you would see in like Dungeon Saga or Castle Ravenloft or even Descent. So everything is just confined in this board. And then in order to get into the other rooms, you need these doors here. You have your open doors, and you have your closed doors. So they're all bagged in here. And so obviously you have a closed door, then you take the open door in its place. So like you can say there's a room there, and then here, and let's say here, and then let's say here. Once the one door is open, you replace it with the open door. Make sense? Simple enough. The next thing is the game box. If you look inside the insert, or the back of the lid, it tells you how to put everything together. And it shows all the components. It even tells you how to put the gargoyle together. Then you have this piece of the box that tells you all the different tiles, what they are, how they're pictured in the quest book, all the furniture, and then you have your weapons, your armor. And so you have like your chainmail and your shield and your helmet. It tells you like how much it costs when you go back to town in between adventures and spend the gold that you find. And so like a short sword is 150 gold. However, some of the heroes start with a short sword. Next, you have your hero sheets. These hero sheets are what you use to track your gold, any potions or items that you found, your hit points, but in this they call it body points, the weapon you have, the armor you have, and then the dice. As you can see, this will give you all the stuff listed here. However, when you start upgrading your armor and weapons, things are going to change somewhat. And so that's why you need these sheets. And so, as if we look at this card here, it's a dwarf. And it tells you, 2 attack dice, 2 defense dice, 7 body points, and 3 mind points. It tells you down here how to move and what the starting weapon is, starting armor is. If you look on the back of it, it tells you the actions and the things that you can do. So there's the dwarf, there's the barbarian, there's the elf, and here is the wizard. As you can see, the wizard has really low defense, body points, and attack dice, so he needs to be standing in back casting spells. What's really unique about this game is how they've taken these generic classes and created this dungeon for you guys to enter. We're not going to do any playthroughs, I'm just going to go through the components this time. But if you pick up a copy of Dungeon Saga, you'll see that the starting characters that come with it is a dwarf, a barbarian, an elf, and a wizard. The elf is an actual like a ranger, archer type elf. And so you can swap out those components to play in this game too. Even like dungeon furniture. Like these are all cardboard with some plastic. But the dungeon furniture that comes with Dungeon Saga is a lot nicer, so you could actually use it in this game if you want, even the doors. There's an altar, a book, a bookshelf, sarcophagus. Look at that, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Weapon rack, torture table. Put a little miniature on there. Even a treasure chest. It's cardboard with some plastic. And you can use like the treasure chests that come in Dungeon Saga to replace in this game if you wanted to. And that table. There's even a chair that goes with the table. Or you can put the chair with this desk. And here's the table. Now, I bought this copy on eBay, and it was really well maintained. And so a lot of the miniatures that came with it were painted, so that's pretty rare. And so if you look at this miniature, I don't know what it is. How do we find out? Well, the Dungeon Master or Game Master screen, or aka Zorgon, has all the information on the back. It provides you with all the information, so it tells you the goblins, skeletons, zombies, orcs, I can't really pronounce that, Fimmer, perhaps I'm butchering that, Mummy, Chaos Warrior, and Gargoyle. So I can tell this is a Chaos Warrior. At least that's what it looks like. Because there is another miniature that is a Chaos Warrior too, but he's holding a different weapon. So I'm not sure if this is unique to Zorgon or another boss in the game, but it's not listed here. So I can just assume, because I haven't played the game in a while, that is a Chaos Warrior. And then if you look at the miniature, like there's a skeleton. You could easily replace that with the skeletons that come in Dungeon Saga, because they come with the same weapons. Like, I'm going to be doing a review of Dungeon Saga, and you're going to see a lot of those miniatures, how they're holding a scythe, or how there are a barbarian, elf, dwarf, and a wizard. And then here's an orc, a painted orc. I think they did a pretty good job of that. And then here is the elf, and the dwarf, here's another orc, and here's a goblin holding the short sword. And there's that Fimmer creature. So we have a lot of those. And then the way the person painted this is really neat. I'm really a big fan of that, how that turned out. Typically, you don't see a painted copy on eBay, but I got my hands on a copy, thankfully, which makes it a lot easier. You can tell by the modeling that this was made back in the 90s or even late 80s, just because look how small it is and how smushed, I guess, the plastic kind of looks like. If you look here in the armor, it's not really defining, but you can paint it to look somewhat defining. Whereas in my miniature games now, there's a lot of detail, and they actually look like a scaled person on miniature size. And then we take a look at the quest book. What's nice about the quest book, it actually gives you, or should I say the Game Master, the detailed layout of how the dungeon should be. And so it should have the starting point on it and stuff. And where treasures go, and where the exit is. And where all the monsters will pop at. And then the instruction booklet is for Zorgon as well. It talks about all the different components, how to play the game. It's really, really well laid out in this book. Talked about how the attack should happen. If you look there. Secret door tiles, which all the tiles are here. And there's the stairs. And this is a trap. And that's a secret passage. Now you have these little walls, or these little, I guess you'd say, cave-in tiles, where you would set these on a map somewhere to break the areas up. So, like, let's say the heroes can only go in, let's say, this section of the dungeon. Okay, so by using these cave-ins and these bricks, or these walls, you're going to prevent them from going to, like, this side of the game map. I think it's a really cool component of this game. You can see it looks like a wall, brick wall. And the cave-in looks like it's a bunch of rubble there. Also, if you have access to the Fat Dragon Games Dragon Lock dungeon tiles, 3D printed dungeon tiles, they make an excellent dungeon for this game. I mean, you can just take the 3D dungeon tiles and modulate them to fit exactly this dungeon without having to worry about the whole game board. And the dice. So if you can see here, these are the dice that you use to move. And then you can tell that all these dice are wood. They're really nice. I mean, they're starting to kind of fade, especially these, because there's a few more black on them. But like the skulls mean hits. The shield is for the heroes, it's for defense. And then according to the rules, the little upside down bunny is the shield for the monsters. And next we'll take a look at the cards. And so here are the artifact cards that you will get throughout the game. So like Wizard Staff, Lauren's Armor, Wand of Magic. And these are just the different things that you can find in the game. And then we have the treasure cards too. These are things that you'll find while searching, because that's one of the things that you can do on your turn. It even says back here. Search for secret doors, search for traps, disarm traps, search for treasure. Right there. And so, like, you may find some jewels, because obviously you need treasure to go buy more armor, and a wandering monster. As you are searching, a monster stalks you and attacks. Zargon places the wandering monster listed in the quest book on any square next to you. The monster attacks immediately. Return this card to the bottom of the deck. Potion of healing, another wandering monster, potion defense. So you have different treasures that are either good or bad when you search. And then you have the monster cards here. They're kind of like a, I don't really care for the artwork on them, but you can tell that they were made back in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember looking at a lot of the Dungeons and Dragons books that my brothers had and seeing like similar artwork. But it tells you all the stats of the monsters on the cards and how to identify them. And then next we have the spell cards. There's chaos spells. There's earth, water, fire, air. So in the game, the wizard will pick one set of these magic spell cards, set them down, and then the elf will pick one set. So let's say he wanted air, and then the last two sets will go back to the wizard. And that will make his arsenal. So the object of the game is to go through each encounter, obviously advance throughout the adventure, and defeat the boss and overcome Zorgon's wrath. It's actually made by Milton Bradley and Games Workshop. It is what you would call a dungeon crawl or adventure game. It's not really a dungeon crawl because nothing changes. It's always the same thing other than where the little blocks are going to be, so that they have different access to different sides of the map. But I mean, I guess you could consider it a dungeon crawl because it is the first dungeon crawl that there actually has been. This is rated for ages 9 to adult. That one is probably tough because there are some components in this game that someone 9 years old may lose interest in, but you can definitely try, and it's a 2 to 5 player game. One person assumes the role of Zorgon, while the rest assume the role of heroes. There are expansions for this game, but they are highly sought after and highly expensive on eBay. So I think that's all the components. So let's take it back up top to give our final thoughts. Alright, so my final thoughts of the game is that if you have not played this game, I wouldn't say run out and try to buy it because they are kind of expensive. Unless you really are interested in keeping this and retaining its value. The box I did get has seen years, but it's not that damaged, thankfully. I bought a well-maintained copy. I'm thankful for that. It looks like there may have been something that may have been broken on one of the pieces. I can't tell for sure if that's how the plastic was or if something was there on the scales. I could probably find a picture online to see. But to find some painted miniatures is really nice. You don't see that too often with this game. I think they did a good job with the gargoyle and how it was done, the shading and everything. The nice thing about this game is that if you have Dungeon Saga, you can take those miniatures and that furniture and the doors and use them with this game instead of using the cardboard bookshelf. I think that was one cool feature that I liked about Dungeon Saga, which I do have Dungeon Saga, and I plan to do a review of that one soon after. But again, it comes with like the dwarf, the wizard, the elf, and the barbarian, the 4 main characters that are just unique to the adventuring style game. So being able to play with those new miniatures versus the miniatures that come with this, because I mean they're good quality for what they are. You know, you can tell that they were the state of the art back when they first came out, but now the miniatures are so much better these days. And so like even the gargoyles from Castle Ravenloft I could play instead of this one, but this one I think I'd keep because of how well it looks painted, whereas in sometimes the plastic doesn't look as nice in these older ones, like the barbarian in this one. I would definitely play with the barbarian that came with Dungeon Saga instead. I really enjoyed this game growing up. My brother had it. We played it a few times, and I'm not sure exactly what happened to it, but somewhere along the lines he got rid of it. If you happen to go to Gen Con, there are events of HeroQuest, and so I would say definitely check it out and try it. If you know a friend that has it, beg him to pull it out and play it. I mean, it's unique to the early 90s, and you can get that kind of a feel, but it's a really good system overall. I recommend it. Thank you for watching. Again, if you like what you're hearing, please like and share. If you want to be a part of this channel, please subscribe. Have a great day, and thanks again.